So we've seen a major reset within the crypto markets. You have prices continuing to go towards the downside, and the reset is not only in price but also in sentiment. A major sentiment reset where we're looking for some key levels to be found. So in today's show, we're going to have a look at a potential Wyckoff accumulation schematic which could be in play. We'll have a look at that in great detail to see exactly where you can trigger your entry into the next major move. We're going to also have a look at some of the liquidation data, and we'll have a look at the altcoin sector. So smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. We do have on the banter bubbles another day of mostly red over here, so the downtrend may continue. I'm going to give you the exact levels where I believe we'll find support in today's show. We'll also go over some of the worst case scenarios, the hourly, some of the coins attempting to put in a bit of a bounce here. You have 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓, XEC in the top 100 as the ones that are moving up. Weekly also giving up some gains. Monthly still remains really strong over here. So if the bull market is to continue, well, ultimately this should present a major opportunity. And oftentimes when we see the 24-hour liquidations reach these high levels, 250 million, 300 million, 400 million in liquidations over a 24-hour period, which is what we saw in the last 24 hours as well as in the prior 48 hours, then you expect a major turning point to occur within the market, and it creates a healthy reset. And you can actually see it overlaid on the chart if you go through to the bottom over here and you have a look at this. Each of those times that you have the major long liquidations, of course marked by this massive spike towards the upside, you have the orange line which is price. You can see you find a little bit of a range bottom over there, and then slowly price will grind back up, and then you lead to another major series of long liquidations. Typically you're getting two of those candles in a row, just like you saw over here, and then the worst is pretty much over. You may come down one more time to test some of those lows and then reaccumulate and attempt to go up again. Here you have the long liquidations again setting in the low, and price grinds sideways and then eventually starts to work its way up. And again, the story repeats, right? Another series of liquidations 3 days in a row. And now you would expect that this is on the greater end of the spectrum, and consequently, there should be some form of a range low or bottom that's found. So we'll get into those levels. You can see that if you go through the top section over here as well, you currently have 49.88% of the market looking currently for longs versus 50.12% looking for shorts. So slightly skewed on the short side. This was a little bit more aggressive over the last 48 hours, but it's starting to come back into balance. So some of the traders that at least capitalized on this move are in our very own whale room. So a big shout out over here to Josh, the navigator, putting in a 220% move on radium, shorting it from the top side over there, looking for the move all the way back down to the bottom. And then again, also we have our very own Farouk, sea scalper Farouk over here with a massive win rate over the last month, 23 trades taken and 21 wins, right? Only one loss over there. There's the record, guys. Make sure you're jumping into whale room. If you're not already in there, get in there because there's a whole lot of alpha. Even when the markets are boring and choppy, we are making money. These are all the trades, all the evidence is in there. You can go and check it for yourself. There's a link in the description below. So sentiment wise, we've had a wonderful reset within the market. As mentioned, same thing over here. When you get those liquidations, it creates a bit of a ranging market, and then you start to reaccumulate. And that's why we're going to look at the Wyckoff accumulation schematic in just a moment. We have the fear and greed dropping all the way down to 37, officially re-entering into the fearful territory where we were only a tick away from greed a little over 3 days ago. And that's how quickly the market reset. So you can see if you look at the deltas over here, the market is still predominantly short in agreement with the CoinGlass info that we just looked at over there. And consequently, you don't want to be a late shorter, right? The time to short was 2 days ago. If you are a low time frame trader, like of course the traders that we have in whale room over here, now you'd be looking for a potential bottom. Now we'll go over the levels where you could possibly find those bottoms. Why is this taking place, right? Well, one big reason is you had this massive spike up over here in the DXY. The DXY spiking up creates a pressured environment for risk on assets. Look, it's very close to invalidating the downsloping trend line over here, or the descending triangle, which is typically a bearish pattern. We have seen before, though, following a compression, that sometimes you whipsaw like that, only to come back in and make the real move. So we're going to give it a little bit of time to see what actually is taking place over here and for the possibility of that breakdown. All of this, of course, is happening due to the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. I'm actually going to do a mega post on that later on today. For those of you in Whale Room, we're going to have a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average from inception, and we're going to look at how every single major war, because that's the longest standing stock market data set that we have, and we're going to have a look at how every single major war affected price and what would have happened if you bought Bitcoin, if you bought into the stock market at that exact moment that the war was announced. And then we're going to forward look to 3, 6, and 12 months later to see what your returns would have looked like. So for those of you in Whale Room, you can expect that report coming out later today. But what we have seen when it comes to the indices is exactly what we spoke about yesterday on crypto, and that is the indexes have now completed their sweeps of the monthly open, right? So we saw that on Bitcoin, we saw that on ETH, sweeping the monthly open. Oftentimes that's a bit of a liquidity grab. If you do break back into the range, typically that's where the lows are made and you're looking at higher prices. So a big shout out to 𝗘𝗫𝗓𝗕𝗦 over there. What a name. That is what we're looking at over there on the indices, and gold is still rampaging towards the upside. We're still waiting to complete this measured move over here. And remember, the measured move came off of a cup and handle formation on gold, which is a multi-decade one, which means it's a high time frame move that will have major momentum behind it. And if you look at Bitcoin over here and we overlay the actual gold chart, so there it is, I've overlaid gold over here, you can see gold breaking out of the inverse, at least the cup and handle formation, breaking out of that and leading the move. So there is typically a convergence between gold and Bitcoin. They generally speaking move in unison and are correlated, but right now there's a decorrelation with Bitcoin coming down, gold the first to break out over there, and we're still waiting for that snapback into the at least convergence or a mean reversion trade where it catches back up to where gold is. So keep at least your analysis zoomed out. When in doubt, zoom out. Look at it from a high time frame to help you to avoid that confusion. And then we'll dig deeper into the details in just a moment. If the expectation is that this is the handle formation of a cup and handle, well, then you would have a slightly bullish bias, right? And we can actually go a little bit deeper into the details. Right now, we want to see the weekly chart reclaim the 21 exponential moving average, which is currently situated at 61,200. We are currently below that, but remember, the closing candles are the most important because we have seen a break of structure with a higher high on the weekly and the daily time frame, which is exactly what I want to look at in just a moment. Because in order for price to put in those major Q4 gains, which we typically see in a post-halving year and in an election year, well, the bulls will need to take control very, very quickly as we are moving into October. And this could, in fact, be the final shakeout. And I think this chart speaks 1,000 words, right? And a picture says 1,000 words. You guys know the saying. And here it is. We've had lower highs throughout, lower lows throughout, in the trading range over here. And for the first time now, we have created a higher high. Now, I went with a more conservative approach. Some people are viewing this on a line chart, and what they're looking at over here is viewing this already as the first high low. You can see it's so marginally, it's like a little tick above the previous lows over there on a closing basis. I'm going with the most conservative approach. So I don't want to give, the bulls more credit than they deserve. And consequently, I'm labeling this a lower low because on a closing basis, it is still a lower low or equal lows. I'm going to label it a lower low, and I'm going to give the bears the benefit of the doubt because that's the most conservative approach we can possibly take. We consider that the first higher high, and therefore we're looking for where the next high low will take place. And then we're going to overlay this with your Wyckoff accumulation schematic, and we're going to have a look at the various different phases of what you expect in that schematic. If you do appreciate this information, guys, please take 1 second out of your day right now and smash the like button for any of you that are live, and any of you watching later. It does help as well to keep the algorithm going to get the show content out. So let's have a look at this over here. I've marked out the range high, the mid-range, and the range low. That's purely based on the previous month's high as well as the previous week's high, which is exactly where this higher high was created. We then have the previous month's low, which would be a sweep below those levels, creating another lower low, thus confirming this as a major fake out and continuation down. Of course, that's possible, but what I think is more likely is that you're probably going to find support somewhere within this region around the previous month's mid-range. Now, I'm definitely much more more interested in what occurs on a closing candle basis. And I wouldn't rule out the possibility that you may see wicks that come further down, little scam wicks that come towards the downside, but the candle still manages to close above the previous month's mid-range. That level specifically comes in at that $59,500 level. So you're looking for major support to be found over there. Price is obviously starting to push up right now on the daily time frame, but it's not all said and done, right? You may reject from the previous week's low as price pushes up over there and come down for one more sweep. We have to pay attention to that and be aware that that is a possibility. At the end of the day, our expectation is that we're transitioning now from phase C into phase D, and we're waiting to reclaim the top of the trading range where we can move into phase E, which is where we actually break out of that cup and handle formation, leaving the handle also seen as a bull flag, right? If you look at it on a daily time frame or even on a weekly time frame over here, keep in mind the handle from the cup and handle formation is also your flag, right? There's your pole, and this would be your bull flag, and therefore you'd be leaving the top side of the flag and actually leaving for the next momentous move, right? The next trending move over there. So therefore we need to pay attention to this, because when we start to get into that sign of strength, reclaiming the top of the range, that's where you expect the breakout to occur. So if that is the case, we're probably situated somewhere right now between phase C and phase D. And the best thing that you can do is actually go and look at what it says about those phases, right? So if you look at this over here, the accumulation phase in phase C is ultimately the final test of supply before the markup phase. You have your spring phase. Remember, we looked at that before. The spring phase would ultimately be this lower low that was created, where it was created on high volume. We'll look at another chart on that in a moment, but immediately spikes back up into the trading range, closing up there and marking up. So the spring phase, a false breakdown. They use the word breakout in trading, but just think of it as a breakdown because it's a downward move. The false breakdown below support to trap the bears and shake out the weak hands, followed by a quick return to the trading range. The shakeout, right? A deeper and more aggressive version of the spring intended to absorb the remaining supply within the market. And then the test, confirmation of the spring, ensuring that the market is ready for the markup phase. Multiple tests may occur to validate the strength of the support level. So let's have a look over here. Have we seen that, right? We saw the high volume over here, marking off the spring phase over here, price spikes up over here, and you do get multiple tests to validate the support level. What comes next? After validating the support level, we expect to transition into phase D. And this displays the first signs of strength and validates that the accumulation schematic at least is true and intact, valid, and it's going to be playing out. And then we're looking for that sign of strength, right? A strong bullish move that breaks through the high volume resistance, indicating the markup start, right? So you have to move through that level. You have to move through the high volume. So let's quickly mark that off. You have to move through the high volume resistance. Where is the high volume resistance? Well, if we put this on over here and we can have a look at a side profile of the volume, is that not interesting? That is where the high volume resistance is. You need to get and break above these key levels over here, which ultimately means you're looking to confirm the higher low. As per this chart over here, you're looking to confirm the higher low. And once you start to break out again above the previous week's low and you start to reclaim those high volume regions over there, that's where your expectation would be that you're clearing that resistance and you're confirming this, right? Breaking through the high volume resistance, indicating the markup start. And then you go through the last point of support, pullback to support levels defined by previous resistance. That offers you a very low risk entry point. So the low risk entry point would be confirming the higher low over here, pushing back towards the upside, breaking through that volume, reclaiming the previous week's low. And ultimately, then you can say that you have a high probability trade setup over there. And then you move back up, right? It's another term for the LPS, following the sign of strength over there, and it provides additional confirmation of the uptrend. So ultimately, that's what we're looking at over there for the Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Is I think that we're somewhere over here within this LPS phase right now. We've transitioned from phase C into phase D, and we're just waiting for the sign of strength to break the top side of the trading range, getting above those high volume nodes. Now, we've marked off the levels yesterday. It also is so interesting the way that it lines up with this Wyckoff accumulation schematic, because we've spoken about this a massive amount when you look at those vertical lines over there. And we said this would be the area wrought with action, the tricky area where the whole thing starts to shift, the momentum begins to shift. So lows, higher high, higher low, and this is where the action takes place, right? This is where true FOMO comes into the market. You can expect timing wise, well, if it does actually hold these levels over the next 2 weeks, we find some sort of a bottom, create the higher low, and then take out this high. The very second that you take out this high over here, which is breaking out of the high volume area, this is where you can say true FOMO will enter back into the market, right? True FOMO, that could be as soon as the middle to the end of October. Therefore, you want to have your wits about you, want to pay attention, you want to come here each and every single day, and you want to stick with the market, right? Keep your head in the market over here and pay attention. Now, we do have to outline what could be a worst case scenario in the event that that doesn't take place, and that is the CME gap. This is a very, very small baby CME gap. You can see it over there on the 4-hour time frame. Remember, the futures markets are closed over the course of the weekend. So sometimes if spot price has a bullish move over Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday they already start bidding before the market open, well, that creates those big gaps towards the upside, right? We see this in the stock market, gap up, gap down, and ultimately it's inefficiency within the market, and the market likes efficiency. The big CME futures traders may come back for this liquidity and target it. I think it's unlikely. I think it's less likely, but it's a possibility. You do have to keep your mind on that and keep an open mind that that could happen, because you've broken this momentum line over here that was governing price up, and you've theoretically started a low time frame downtrend, which could send price into those levels. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's why I said I wouldn't rule out, scam wicks that might come towards the downside, but I'm still looking for price to ultimately close above this $59,000 region, which is your previous month's mid-range, thus creating a higher low. That's the expectation. That's what I'm looking at. That's at least the trading plan. The trading plan is to allocate any spare capital into the market where there could be a high low, with obviously stop losses below over here. Always have your invalidation and ask yourself where you may be wrong. So again, just going a little bit into the detail, you can see the way the fib levels have been working. Remember, we marked out our fib levels like this to calculate where support may be found, measuring from the low to the confirmed high. We marked out key levels being one, the 0.382 level at 61,200, and then the next one being the 50% level at 59,570. So I really like this spot as an area of interest. And as mentioned, it depends. We have to constantly gauge momentum, because I wouldn't rule out the possibility that you could come as low as this pocket over here, which is the 0.65 to 618. That's $57,500-ish level. That's also a possibility over there. So continuously monitor the charts on the low time frame to garner your entry, and then prepare, guys, because it's going to be a big month, right? I also do want to remind you, we have the massive World Series of Trading event. This is the biggest trading event in the entire world when it comes to ByBit, when it comes to anything crypto related. There is $10 million of prizes up for grabs over there, as well as a whole lot of other bonus prizes, which you'll find if you go through into the description below. Please join into our team. Using the link below will immediately join you into the team. I must let you know that if you don't have a unified trading account, you may struggle to get in as part of the early bird group, which is coming in first. What is the unified trading account? A unified trading account just simply means that all of your accounts are pretty much collated into one, right? So most of you, when you go into ByBit, you're going to have like your spot exchange, you're going to have your derivatives exchange, your other futures exchange. There you can separate multiple exchanges. Unified means it's all in one. It's unified into one exchange. Unless you have a unified account, you won't be able to register for the early bird. Early bird registration closes in 1 day and 3 hours. So if you have a unified account, pause the video and join. If you don't have a unified account, you can always convert into a unified account and still join. Okay, let's continue on over here. Bitcoin. So here is your 4-hour EMAs. We've got the 200 and the 50 EMA over there, continuous chop. Now, if we do form the high low and you start to move up aggressively, you might start to reclaim some of those levels. Let's keep an eye out on that. Otherwise, it's still possible that you're going to come all the way down for that CME gap on the low time frames. Keep monitoring that. We have Bitcoin dominance with another big spike up over here. We've spoken about this. We said that it's too soon to call a local top over here or a major top. For now, this is a strong trending move, but it is reaching the apex, and we expect that this will be resistance and will stall the Bitcoin dominance, right? Which means we're very, very close, very, very, very close. So if this does start to break down, this is where you get your big moves in the altcoin sector. But look, in terms of hitting the first level, that's 1.13%. If you go deep into that box, 3%. And if you go all the way into the order block, you're talking about another 6-7% rise in the Bitcoin dominance. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's going to happen, because you also have this pivot level that's been governing price. So I think it will probably stall before that level. In a more worst case scenario, I would say about 60-61% on Bitcoin dominance. And that's, of course, going to hurt the altcoin sector. It's also going to hurt ETH BTC, right? Because if Bitcoin dominance is going up, ETH BTC is going down, we do still need to keep our eyes on this level, right? We're very, very, very close, very, very close. So I'm just governing this each passing week. In a worst case scenario, if you hit that line 0.0367 for ETH BTC, you really need this chart to be moving towards the upside and breaking out, having a confirmed local bottom to make it healthy for the rest of the altcoin market to rally up. Otherwise, you will get trap scenarios. At the end of the day, if you go onto the daily time frame, you still, similar to Bitcoin, have a break of structure, right? You've taken out the prior lower high. You have here convincingly put in higher lows on total 3. This is your altcoin market cap. So higher lows, higher highs. This is a possible trend reversal still in play for the total 3 chart, which means dips are for buying, right? Those are opportunities within the market. So we can have a look through some of the altcoins over here. Start dropping your requests. Look at SUI, strong, super strong, just continuing to march towards the upside. We did say that, it's probably going to go straight to all-time highs. Would I be a buyer here? Probably not, right? Probably not. Speaking of which, I got questions around the new list. Why did I not put SUI in the new portfolio list, which I dropped into Whale Room yesterday? Guys, the reason is just because I wouldn't buy it right here, right now at these current levels. That's why I didn't. I gave you the top 10 picks. Those are the top 10 picks, assuming I was fully in cash and I was looking to enter into the market right now. Those are the top 10 coins that I'm looking to get into. So again, guys, reminder in Whale Room, look at Chris as well, absolutely crushing it. These are his September wins over here. You got a diary of entries, up 126%, up 50%, 96%, 40%, 27, 23, 25. The traders are absolutely crushing it. If you guys do want to capitalize on this, you're taking massive trades, $12,700 return now on the $10,000 account. So up massively on those trades. The link is below for Whale Room. For any of you that want to get that portfolio as well, it was dropped last night. So it's in Whale Room over there. And then let's get into the altcoins, right? What are we looking at today, guys? Injective. I see that's the first request. Let's go to Injective over there. So Injective, rejected off the top side over here. This was the breakout level, failed to hold above. Coming back down, you're looking at a higher low in the making. Remember, utilize your fib tool, mark out those various different levels. Let's just quickly mark it off over here. And let's look at that bull fib. There it is. So it has come into the pocket, right into the 0.5 to 0.382. It may drop a little bit lower, right? We do have to be aware that, if this has got strong momentum down, this one actually is probably going to come back to the 618 to 65. And that just so happens to be slightly above where the last high low was. So you're looking at about 1849 realistically for Injective over the next coming weeks. Okay. We have Pyth. Okay, a lot of you want Pyth. We haven't had Pyth for a long time, so I think that's a good one to have a look at. Let's check out Pyth. How's it doing? Pyth. Here we go. Remember, Pyth, Oracle solution, but for Solana. So similar to Chainlink, but this is on Solana. And how's it doing? Okay, we got the lows. So we've marked off the lows over there. You got key resistance levels at play over here. Let's consider that. Pink zone is the range high, and really your best buys are always going to be as close to the range low as possible, especially if you sweep that zone. I don't necessarily view this as a strong trend in motion yet. You do have a higher high, you have possible higher lows in making as well, but I view this, newer coins like this as most likely to be more choppy. So if I were personally to gain an entry into something like this, I would rather be waiting for sweep into those lows, something like that around 25 cents. But if you're already long on it from down here, you're looking to trade it to the top of the range, which is about 47, 48 cents. Okay, CAT. A lot of people have been requesting CAT lately. Please do let me know if I have the right one. I don't think I've charted this one before. Is it Simon's CAT? Let me know in the chat. Is it Simon's CAT that you want? This CAT on, or is it? Yeah, must be. It must be the one on Mexi. They always list first. So let's see. Simon's CAT. Okay. Obviously, a newer chart, always harder to chart these newer charts just because they're less reliable. They're not as reliable from trading perspective as things that have been around for a long time. But very simply put, you can see clear resistance, eventually tested as support, leads to the big move up, and now you've come back down into that level. So this is truly the level that you want to hold. That is coming in at 27,846. 27,846. That's the level that you want to hold on Simon's Cat and SR flip. Now, it doesn't rule out the possibility that you may see a little bit of a deeper move like that, but as soon as you reclaim it, that's where it starts to run towards the upside. Okay, Casper. Yeah, we can have a look at Casper. How's Casper doing? Yesterday, it came perfectly into that level. Okay, you are spending a little bit of time underneath this. You have to take this as a parabola, so take it with a pinch of salt. It can easily be adjusted. And what I'm more interested in is these horizontals, right? So the fact that it's holding up at the mid-range over here is a good sign. Those are your opportune areas. If the psychology is starting to shift, remember you have your discount zones and your premium zone. So discount zone, premium zone. Typically, you want to buy in the discount zone, but if price spends a lot of time in the premium zone, then the lower half of the premium zone starts to be viewed as the new discount zone, which I think is more likely going to be the case. So this is probably going to be your new discount zone, and then eventually this is going to break out, and then you're going to have a new premium zone all the way on the top side over there. So that's at least my viewpoint. That means around this region over here is a great long-term entry for something like Casper. Okay, we can look at Link. There's Link. I see there's a question on Link. Link, not the coin that it was of the past, right? People like newer things, hot stuff, hot things, hot off the press. This is not hot off the press. It had its big move. We originally took the long ages ago, all the way back here in June of 2023. We got the full move all the way to the top side over there. It's bleeding out over here. I think there's a good chance that Chainlink will come back all the way down into this region over here, right? So if you come to fill some of that liquidity over there, that's at 890. That's going to be the area of interest. But at the end of the day, it has put in, of course, a high, and this could be your next high low. But I think it's going to range a little bit longer. Okay, Solana, Popcat. Yeah, we can have a look at those. Let's go to Solana. Where Solana is it holding up? Okay, so obviously it dropped down a little bit, major ejection from this zone. Keep in mind, if all the other coins go to range lows, Solana's range low is coming down in at 120. You want to see Solana put in a higher low here, right at the 50% level, which it's pretty close to now. $136 is the 50% level. If it can hold above that, put in a higher low, then the next move is obviously to try and get above 160. Break and hold 160, and it's going to be looking good. So this is a possibility. If Bitcoin holds up, if bulls can defend, you're looking at something like that. Break and hold above, and then you can start to move towards the top of the range, right? The range high over there. All right. 𝗕𝗫𝗓. Yeah, we can have a look at 𝗕𝗫𝗓. So 𝗕𝗫𝗓 is, this is it. Yeah. I mean, this one got heavily hit. Still pretty dead, to be honest with you. Still pretty dead. I don't think that there's any real trade opportunity. If you go from all-time high to even current price over there, it's still down 94.5%. So really hits over there. Okay, IMX, we can have a look at IMX as one of the other requests over there. Let's check it out. Okay, so there we have it. IMX, looking at this key zone over here, you are back testing into the breakout level. Again, let's just get a little bit more specific with this. So let's go from the recent low to the high. There is your 618 is going to be coming in at 140. Let's just see in relation to the 0.382. Okay, it is holding. It's finding support over there. So that's your 0.382 and your 50% level. So if Bitcoin can hold up over here, similar to Bitcoin, you probably find some sort of a bottom within this region over here, looking for your next major high low. You created your first higher high. So that one's not too bad. Okay, Super. We have a request on Super. Let's also check out Super. Typically one of the stronger ones. I told you, though, be careful longing this coming into the top of the resistance. We've charted this a lot. Remember, this is a big move towards the upside. It means a lot of liquidity. So if this starts to break down, it will fall, very quickly. All right. Also, guys, I do want to let you know the promotion is ending, right? There's a big promo which is currently running on Ledger, where if you order one using the link below, then you may actually get 2 in the mailbox, right? It's kind of like a Secret Santa surprise thing, right? You order one, maybe you get two, maybe you get three. This is Rand's promotion, which is extending onto my show as well for you guys, for my audience. I think it's an amazing offer. Remember, these ledgers fetch for anywhere between, in US dollars, $100 to about $500 for the top of the range one. Keep your crypto safe. One of the most important things you can do. I get this question a lot when it comes to the ledger, but what are you supposed to do, right? If you want to trade in and out of your coins, if you want to put stop losses and things like that, please keep in mind that Phantom, the Phantom wallet all the way on the top here, this Phantom little emblem that I have over there, is a highly capable wallet that you are able to trade, you know, on dexes and things like that. You can put limit orders, stop losses and all of that, and you can actually connect your ledger to the Phantom wallet, which means that you can trade freely but still own the keys, right? Own the keys to your wallet. That's the point, right? Is that you want to be safe when it comes to your crypto. So this promotion will end tomorrow. You have like 24 hours left. Please take advantage while you still can. Use the link below. Get yourself a ledger. Stay protected. You know, you can customize the thing, do whatever you want, make it look how you want. Great initiative over there. All right, let's continue. Okay, what have we got? What else have we got? Checking the comment section. Render, yes, let's have a look at Render. That's a good one. I almost put Render on my list, you know, the top 10 list. I was very, very close. It was a top contender, but it's just not in the perfect zone yet, right? So you can see downsloping trend line. It's just getting smashed all the way down. You are starting to put in, you know, the higher lows over here. There you go. You got your last lower high, higher low, higher high. So you are looking, maybe you're going to form another high low over here, and you can start to break through this level. Once you get that break of trend, right, that's where it does start to shift the momentum and open up the possibility to really move into an uptrend. So let's get a little bit more precise on this one as well. Some of the levels that I'm going to be looking at. Let's just double check over here. How is it in relation to the fib over there? So you've already lost the 50% level. Where's it in relation to the golden pocket? You've come directly into the golden pocket. You can see also prior resistance over there. So if you run your horizontal across, this is more or less the zone. You want to see a higher low form here on Render. So keep this on your watch list. And then if you want to be safe, right, just wait for it to break the trend line over here and shift the momentum completely. And then you can get the next high low that comes after that. All right, Filecoin. I don't know how Filecoin's doing. We can check it out. Also, I just want to see HNT. HNT, remember Helium was one of the top performers. It is holding above the mid-range, your mid-range at 680, currently where price is holding now. So you're looking to possibly trade this back to the top side of the range over there if it can keep holding this as support. All right, and then we had Filecoin, and then we may as well look at 𝗬𝗢𝗢𝗓 as well. If we look at Filecoin, we should also check out 𝗬𝗢𝗓𝗓. So Filecoin still getting pretty hammered. There it is. There's your ultimate range lows. There's no real bid on this. Honestly, no real bid right now. So I wouldn't be looking for longs on Filecoin. I would wait for a proper shift of momentum. I'd also wait for more loose monetary policy to come into the market. You know, quantitative easing needs to be in full force for these altcoins to run. Otherwise, right now, the alts that we've been buying have been pretty selective, ones that we think have a chance of outperforming. Okay, let's check 𝗬𝗢𝗓𝗓. So let's quickly go to 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓 USDT. There it is. Okay, 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 approaching the bottom over here of the falling wedge formation, also approaching key support over here. So this creates a high confidence trade setup, or high confluence trade setup at least, where you're looking for the possibility of a major reversal from this region. Let's just clean that up. So you're looking for, you know, something like this. If you do get a sweep down into that region, that's where you're looking for a major low. But this is kind of catching a falling knife, just to be clear. You don't have a breakout. You don't have a trend reversal. You don't have any of that. This is lower lows and lower highs. You are attempting to be a knife catcher into the bottom of that zone. So as long as you understand that, it's all okay. All right. Cool, guys. Remember, check out Whale Room. Check out Whale Room. Massive, massive wins over here. I honestly think this must be one of the best Discords in the entire world. And not purely just because of me, but the team. The team are phenomenal over there. Use the link in the description below. It's listed right over here. Whale Room over there. Please do join in. And then remember, Whale School is free. But I think we closed for this cohort, so you can't join. You're going to have to wait for the next time. I'll catch all of you on the next one. I hope you have a great day, guys. And cheers for now.